How terrifying was the infamous Black Death that instilled fear in countless people? It was a time of 14th century Europe. A plague ravaged the land like a death scythe, causing destruction. Over a span of more than 6 years, it ultimately killed 25 million lives. Infected individuals developed a strange purplish hue on their skin, focusing on armpits and groin, accompanied by dark spots that are slowly spreading and covering their entire bodies in a daunting manner. This became the most terrifying symbol of the devastating plague and the origin of disaster. Highlights key events of a major war that started in 1346, when the Mongolian people led a massive army to besiege the port city of Kaffa on the Black Sea. But an unexpected deadly plague erupted and spread quickly in the camps. Facing a particularly stubborn general, Janibek Mongol commander made a truly haunting decision that will linger in memories: to launch the lifeless bodies of soldiers who tragically succumbed to the plague into the city. In a brief period following that moment, a devastating and catastrophic plague rapidly spread throughout the entire establishment, affecting everyone within it. Italian merchants fleeing by ship sought safety elsewhere, carrying the fatal bacillus to the coasts of the Mediterranean. This crucial moment set the stage for the devastating outbreak of the plague in Europe. Ireland and parts of Europe faced the Dark Ages during this time. Streets were lined with raw sewage, garbage piled up high, and residents often went without bathing. They typically held the belief that bathing opens pores and boosts skin health. Then, the church asserted that not bathing symbolized purity, reflecting a belief in moral cleanliness. Under the dual influence of history and the church, Europeans took pride in long periods without bathing. As time went on, this inadequate sanitation created an ideal breeding environment for both rats and fleas to thrive and multiply. When the ships that were loaded with plague-infected rats finally reached the military ports, the bacteria rapidly spread across Europe, significantly impacting regions. In October 1347, the epidemic broke out on the islands of Sicily, spreading to Marseille in France and Barcelona in Spain. It made its way to England in the year 1349. And in 1350, it affected the prosperous Florence in northern Europe, with a population decline of 81%. In London's busy streets, a shocking number of corpses were systematically removed daily. Europe fell into a scene that felt hellish in many ways. Faced with this unprecedented and overwhelming disaster, Europe's medical system completely collapsed. Ancient doctors used humor theories from Greek philosophy, believing that diseases were caused by imbalances in bodily fluids, resulted bloodletting, inducing vomiting, and even drinking urine, a bizarre set of methods that ultimately resulted in a notably accelerated form of death. The prayers were in vain. The clergy made a solemn announcement about the sad news of a passing. The public's faith and trust in religion began to crumble. In deep despair, individuals vent anger and frustration on convenient scapegoats. Jews focused on hygiene, had a significantly lower death rate, and were unjustly accused of being involved in poisoning, suffering massacres in 1349. In Germany, 6,000 Jewish individuals tragically lost their lives in just one day. Similar atrocities unfolded across Europe. In this disaster that has occurred, an exceptional and diverse group of healers emerged from the shadows. French doctor Charles Delorme invented the bird mask. It featured a protective gas mask along with a fashionable black robe that was crafted from durable and waxed cloth, gloves, and a cane that is filled with an extensive variety of different herbs and spices. To efficiently filter the air, these amazing beak doctors, despite their limited medical knowledge, remained steadfast on the front lines. In cities, they held sticks. To avoid direct contact with the infected, they checked the health of patients door to door, trying out several different methods to treat, including bloodletting, excising tumors, and using purges. Though the methods we discussed before may seem barbaric by today's standards, they embodied the last hope in the fight against the relentless plague. Few doctors with good luck escaped the plague. They kept persisting in their treatment process, becoming beacons of hope in the darkness. The Black Death brought not only the painful death, but also sparked profound social change. The tragic loss of about 1/3 of Europe's population led to a severe labor shortage. Serfdom gradually collapsed, enabling surviving workers to gain higher wages, and the idea of freedom greatly sped up the rise and growth of capitalism. The church's authority significantly crumbled after the plague, as people questioned the clergy's omnipotence. Humanism emerged gradually, establishing a strong ideological base for the Renaissance's growth in history. Public health awareness also grew during the disaster. In places like Nuremberg, Germany, the earliest public health systems were established, pushing cities to begin emphasizing waste management, sewage work, and the popularity of public baths. It wasn't until the 19th century that scientists isolated the plague bacillus, exploring fleas, the important key transmitters in various contexts. Antibiotics in the 20th century ended plague. No longer boundless, but rather those mysterious doctors who wear bird-like masks, shadowy figures swim gracefully against the relentless darkness, will etched forever in the annals of humanity's struggle against plagues. The history of the Black Death warns us to stay vigilant. The progress of civilization often comes at the cost of suffering. Yet the courage and wisdom that humanity bursts forth with in dire straits will ultimately guide us toward a much brighter and more promising future filled with possibilities.